Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video because of what we have in front of me. This is the Weatherby Model 307 Range XP model, and this particular one I got in front of me is 257 Weatherby Magnum. Incredible ballistics out of that cartridge, if you know anything about it. 257 is pretty sweet. But told my wife today, you know what? We've been real busy and I really just want to slow down, and I'm going to take to the range a couple things that put a smile on my face. We need to pick me up today. So this is one of the ones that I grabbed. If you're not familiar, I'll give you the specs real quick. Like I said, Weatherby Model 307 Range XP. So this isn't a Mark V. This isn't a Vanguard. This is Weatherby's new, recently released Model 307. They've got a couple different iterations with some different stocks. This one with the green stock and the darker Cerakote is called the Range XP, which is also the more affordable option. I don't talk about price a whole lot, but for this one, I know a bunch of you are going to ask. The MSRP on their website is just a shade under 1200 for this 307 in the Range XP version with this green stock. So, quick front to back, some stuff you might want to know about it. Comes with an AccuBrake. The 257 Weatherby mag is a 26-inch barrel, 28 with the brake. So a true 26-inch fluted barrel. The magazine for 257 is 5+1 drop mag. Like I said, this is a 2-lug action, super smooth action. Trigger is a Trigger Tech trigger, adjustable down to 2.5 pounds. I got mine turned down almost all the way. Almost full vertical grip there. Adjustable cheek riser, good pad there on the back. But I have had this at the range and sighted it in, so we should be pretty close at 100. It should be dead on. Real nice Zerotech Vengeance on top, 5 to 25 zoomies. But like I said, told my wife I was taking stuff to the range that puts a smile on my face. This one absolutely puts a smile on my face. So if you haven't seen them before, check them out. Weatherby Model 307. This particular one's in 257 Weatherby Magnum. I brought out 3 factory Weatherby loadings, a 100 grain TTSX, which I found that this one really likes. I also have some interlocks, which is 100 grain as well, right? Yep, 100 grain interlocks, and then I also have some 110 grain ELDX. So another big piece of 257 Weatherby is I'm working on doing a couple different loadings for this. So after today, I'll have even more brass. So stay tuned for those videos. I'm going to be doing some load testing for this real soon. But hey, let's go back to 100 yards, just slow down. And I'm going to get some trigger time in and practice time in with this Weatherby Model 307 Range XP. Like I said, in 257 Weatherby Magnum. But let's go back to the bench and sling some bow lots with this baby. All right, now back here at 100 yards, a couple things I think I forgot to mention that y'all might want to know. This bolt has a toolless takedown design. So you're out hunting and this gets all dirty or water in it, you can take the bolt apart. Some of y'all might want to know that. And also, the mag for this 257 Weatherby is a Magpul P-Mag Magnum long action magazine. But I've got those blue tip TTSXs loaded up here first. I only have enough of this stuff to do one group of this stuff, and then we'll do a few of the others. But I'm gonna go ahead and let it cool in between each different type of ammo. So let's do a group of this 100 grain TTSX here quick, 100 yards. For this today, I put the Caldwell bipod on it, and the same with the rear bag, the Caldwell rear bag. We'll give it all the zoomies at 25 zoomies and do my best on this trigger here. Middle target down there. TTSX. A little bit up and left, but let's see how it groups here. Get all these, make sure I get them back in the box. Like I said, I'm going to be loading this 257. Felt like that one jumped on me a little bit, but we'll see how the group turns out here. I know that was a good squeeze. Looks like we're still inside of an inch there. Also see how much difference that cold bore is from the rest of them. Number 3 here, TTSX. All right, so there's our first 3 out of this thing. How warm is the barrel? Feel a little bit of heat off of that, not much, but I'm still gonna let it cool at 5 minutes before we come back. Also, another thing before I forget to mention it, today for this video, I've got my Banish Backcountry, which is a real lightweight 30 cal can. It's 7 ounces and some change. So if your backcountry setup, just like the name of the can, it's not gonna add a lot of weight to the rig, but we'll let this cool. First one, we're off to a good start inside of an inch. And let's do some more testing here in a second. Like I said, I'm gonna let it cool. All right, now let it cool off a while. Come back. Now we got the ELDX 110 grain. So these are a little heavier. The ELDX has that red tip where those TTSXs are the blue tip. Before I forget to bring it up, at the end of this video, I'm gonna put together a data chart of all my groups out of this rig to date. Last time I did testing like this, I had it in a lead sled. Today I'm using bipod and a rear bag. But one, just to show you all the data, and two, for me to have a place to keep track of this data. That group with the TTSX, that looks like a 0.8, maybe 0.9 inch group. I could be wrong, but I want to say I did a little bit better than that last time off the lead sled. But here we go. ELDX. Same thing. Do a couple groups with these. I got a little bit more blue lights of this ELDX stuff. Here we go. 110 grain ELDX, bottom left target. Gotta do my absolute best here on my squeezing. Good squeeze there. Oh man, my paper wasn't tight right there on that spot. That might be a little hard to measure that one. We're gonna roll with it. Good squeeze. A little bit lower than the last one. So the impact shift between the TTSX and the ELDX looks like it's ELDX is a little left. Number 3 for this group. Good squeeze there. Now those 2 at the end are touching. That's going to come in at a good group. Let's do another group of this stuff. I didn't bring the chronograph today. That's one thing I wanted to do, was chronograph these, so I have that data to compare to my hand loads. What does the box say? They normally print the Weatherbys, yeah. The box on this from Weatherby is says 3,400 feet per second at the muzzle. So 3,400, these ought to be going about that speed. Well, let's do another group here. And we'll let it cool and finish off with those interlocks at the end. How'd we do there? Hard to tell because my paper's ripping, but I'm gonna have to staple it better than that on the next one. But we'll let it cool. Then we'll do the same with the interlocks, and at the end, like I said, I'll measure these groups and we'll have all that data. All right, let it cool. Now, for the final test, we're doing these Hornady interlocks. They're 100 grain, so got no heat in the barrel anymore. Let's see how these do. I was just going to tell you guys something, and then I forgot. These Hornady interlocks are lead nose, if you've never seen them before. But we'll see how these go for us. More data is more better. I'm excited to put all this data up at the end. and see what we think about it. What speed's calling for on these on the box? It says 3,605 feet per second out of these. These are a little bit lighter. So good squeeze there. Good squeeze there. It looks hard to tell with my paper ripping. I've got to staple that better on the next one, but there's a group of 3. I think we're still inside of an inch on every single one of these. We'll see with the calipers when I get them out, but load 3 more of these ELDXs and group them. Good squeeze there. Good squeeze. Good squeeze there. So yeah, it's putting them in there. Let me take a look at that target here. I'll measure them with the calipers, then I'll show you guys all my data with this thing so far. Pretty sweet. Trigger, one of the best triggers I have on absolutely anything. I love it. Next thing I'm gonna do with this is take it long range and do some of that loading. I might have time. Probably be better if I do the loading first and then take the best load to long range. But let's measure these groups and I'll show you all this data. All right, so just measured those groups with the calipers. Let me flip this camera around, show you how we did here. All right, so first I did those 100 grain TTSXs, which to my best of my memory, it liked those best last time I was out at the range. 0.75 inch group. I would have done more, but ran out of ammo of those. Then I think we did these second out of the ELDX 110 grain, a little heavier, 0.92 and a 1.10. That actually ended up being the worst group of the day today. Then out of the Hornady interlocks, I got a 0.87 over here, and then right here I got a 0.85. So pretty consistent across the board. It likes those 100 grain TTSX the best, then the interlocks the second best, and then the ELDX. We still got it under an inch here, but not liking these as much as it likes the interlocks or the TTSXs. So let me run this to the house and I'll show you, put together all the data that I've got off that 307 so far. All right, so compiling a bunch of data, like I said, to show you guys also, so I have it all in one place. This is that target from out there at the range, and then I have gone in here, compiled all my data. I'm going to keep this file and keep adding into it, especially when I start to do the loading stuff over here. But just take a quick look at this data and I'll pop it up for you. This is all the groups that I have from this 307 Range XP in 257 Weatherby. So a couple things to call out. First, I've got all the data from every group split up by bipod and then also from a lead sled. Interesting to keep track of the data that way. And remember, there's the TTSX 100 grain, there's the ELDX 110 grain, there's the interlock 100 grain. Interestingly enough, every single one of these I've had under 1 inch groups, and then every single one I've had a fluke and got over a 1 inch group. You guys that watch the show know I absolutely love precision. I'm a stickler for getting small groups. But here's all the data. You guys can freeze this and look at it. So bipod average is 0.75 for the TTSX. That's only one data set, not much. The 110 grain ELDX right at an inch, and the interlock 100 grain average off a bipod of 0.86. And then going down to lead sled average is about the same with the 100 grain TTSX. There's a 1.12 inch group that's really throwing off that average. But the data's the data, and that's what it is, and that's what I'm showing you. Lead sled average with that ELDX, 1.42. I think I was just having a bad day that day. You can see I got a 1.73. But that's what I got. And all those videos are up if you want to go check them out. Me doing a bunch of this testing. Then the lead sled, I've got the most data from the Interlock 100 grain, mainly because those are cheaper, and that's just the stuff that I was finding at the time. Probably the past 2 years, I've actually been just picking up the 257 Weatherby factory stuff when I find it in my travels. You know, random pawn shop here, what have you. But the total averages for the TTSX is a 0.79. Again, there was one bad group in there that's really hurting my average there. For the ELDX, 1.21. Again, there's one group in there that's hurting my average. And then the interlocks, my average so far out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different groups is right at an inch. So that's my data file on this baby, the Model 307 Range XP in 257 Weatherby Magnum. I love this thing. The trigger is probably one of my favorite things about it, and the long barrel. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think that is one of the rigs that puts a smile on my face. Like I said, that's what the whole goal of yesterday was to get out to the range, have some fun. I'm also going to have brass from this today. And this is just some of the stuff that I was able to find locally. Some of those TTSXs, which is grouping the best out of this. Do I have this open? No, I don't. So, luckily, I've been able to... Oh man, don't be dropping this stuff. I've been able to find this stuff locally near me. This is the stuff that's grouping the best from the factory stuff. 100 grain TTSXs. Just to give you a quick look at what those look like. 100 grainers. I've got 50 of those. Then I've actually got 100 of these TSXs. These are a little bit heavier in 115 grain. I don't know that these are going to group as well, but they had them, so I'm going to try them. Let me cut this open. The twist on that 257, it's a 1 in 10 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1 in 10. So in theory, these heavier ones may not do as well. But there's a TSX that I'm going to try. See if we can figure out something that can make it group well with those. But it even says right here, for the 115 grains, get a 1 in 9 twist or faster, which this is a 1 in 10, so slightly slower. But I'm also trying to find quite a few more. The latest Rage 2 is also hammer bullets. I noticed that Weatherby is doing factory loads of the 92 grains, and I think a different weight, so I'm going to try to get some hammer stuff to load myself, and I'm going to try to get some of the Weatherby stuff too. But nerding out a little bit today at the end of this video, keeping data on this thing. One of the other things I'm excited about, I need to take this rig hunting. And I also need to take this long range, stretch it out to 1,000 yards, especially once I get some of these loads dialed in. But hey, appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think about the 307 Range XP. There's also a different model, MDT model, with a little bit fancier folding stock, if you're into that stuff too. But 2-lug action from Weatherby, their latest Model 307. It's not a Mark V, it's not a Vanguard, it's a 307. I didn't mention it either, but it's Remington 700 compatible. You guys that like swapping out things, that's one of the, I guess, kind of also key features of the 307 is it's Remington 700 compatible. If you like switching stuff out, you can switch out some of the stuff and make it your own, I suppose. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. I won't ramble on to you any longer. You guys know me. No, I can talk all day about this stuff. But hey, appreciate you guys coming along with me, checking out this Weatherby. It did put a smile on my face. Got more data. More data is more better. And we're gonna keep working with this thing and getting even more precision results out of it. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hooty hoo!
Load it up and get all the zoomies you can.